recording has started, right? So from here, there's no issue. Okay, so we are going back to here. So once more, once again. So we discuss about the SQLite because this is the very important and main thing. Whenever we go for any of the mobile app, we always require the database. So we consider any of the app, like suppose what I mean by any of the app, you consider for Lazada, you consider for Food Panda, you consider for any app, always it requires the database. Two of the apps they use means SQLite, mostly they use SQLite, and few of them they use Firebase, and few of them they use the server-based database, and few of them they use the different sort of the database. But mostly SQLite is being used. And for the default apps, what we are using with our Android when we purchase, I hope you are aware about the default apps that what we discussed in our previous lectures at the start early. So those are also using the SQLite. The reason is what? Because SQLite does not require the internet connection, does not require the administration, does not require the server, does not require anything. Even when the user is using his application in the offline mode, again, user will be able to access his data. And the data reside on your own device. This is the reason that it is most important. We asked the question then why then people are going to the Firebase? Because Firebase is mostly we use when we require online database. Online database means the live database where we can be able to do everything in live. Like suppose the nature of the application is different. For example, we are working for a stock exchange. We are working for something where we are really concerned to locate the location, to know about the person, how many people are joining, and what is their current status, everything. So in a simple word, we can say for the live purpose. Because in Firebase, the database is actually on the cloud, okay? Not on our machine. So we are providing a connectivity to our interface GUI with the Firebase using the API. So there are integration of the database. So database is on actually cloud, so that database is live. And for that, we are not able to access if suppose we are offline. How we would understand that? It's very simple to understand. Say, for example, if you want to use the Grab, want to use the Food Panda, you want to use the Lazada, but the moment you are not having internet, your internet is off, Wi-Fi data is off, do you think that you can be able to access? Can you book the Grab? No, you cannot book at the drive, right? You are not able to because you need to access the database, which is actually using the file on the cloud. And for that, you need the internet connection. So I hope you understand the difference. Now, if we come back and see that most of the applications, more than the 60% to 70%, we put means huge range. The reason is because a lot of the the devices and machines they are using, and the number is going up and down. And the literature suggests that more than the 3 million devices, almost 5 years before it was 1.5 million, 3 million devices are activated daily on a 24-hour basis, which has operating system support Android. For even their default application, SQLite as well. So coming back, it's very important, it's very crucial. So that's why what we did, we divide it into the 3 different sessions because it's important as we can be able to understand and as we can go slow as possible. So you could be able to digest it, understand it, and can do the practice. Here, practice is very important. If you're not doing the practice, then this technique. Okay? So please do the practice, and I'm sure that you will be doing so tomorrow. We will see the demo from you guys individually, right? So now, what we had done in the first one, we try to discuss that what is the SQLite, how this API we use, how many different classes are, how many different methods are, and for what method we are using those methods, when they required, and what functionality they required. So we tried to clear all the concepts. And after that, we came up with the means a short demo where we can see that how we could be able to interact or connect with the SQLite, create the database for the SQLite. And remember, we gone through that we were able to add the data and in the means list form, and then we were looking at our entries it's connected with SQLite, and they are means being saved in the SQLite data. But that was only the introduction to give you guys understanding that how this SQLite is doing. And next step, we try to go means the further where we were trying to cover more than 50 to 60% what is being used by any of the mobile application that we used about the login, about the registration, about entering the data, and about everyone that how it would be possible to go through for that. You want to go for Mitra? Okay, you just let me know 5 minutes before. So we gone through with that, and we try to compare that with the previous one where the basic concept we learned that how it is same from the previous one. So I repeat, it is same because it is SQLite. It is same. It is same means the helper class. It is same methods, the same things, and we just extend that how we could be able to apply the different means validations and verifications, and also how to use the user registration, login, and how to deal with the different activities, right? Now, today we are again going one step ahead, which is again a continuation of your previous 2 classes. Now, this is today we are focusing about the CRUD operation. The CRUD operation or CURD operation. Okay, so what is the CRUD or CURD operation? The CRUD operation is actually, whenever we use the SQLite is a specifically lightweight database designed for your mobile apps, which is mostly use these 4 operations. CURD. C is creation, like what you can call the creation of database, insertion of the values. R is for reading, means inputting, means the not inputting, but getting the values from the database, reading. Okay, U is updating. In case if suppose you enter any value wrongly, so if suppose you want to update, like suppose you have a profile, your profile, the user want to update his profile, her profile, so user can be able to change the values. That is the U update. And D is delete. If suppose user don't want to means even put the order, but now he or she don't want to go for that, so they can simply delete the order. So these all are the 4 operations: creation or insertion, reading or means popping up the information from the database, and updating the existing information or deleting the existing information. These are the only 4 operations for any mobile app. If you just visit for the Google Play Store, whatever number of mobile applications you will find. So either they are using Firebase or they are using SQLite, they will be means using only these 4 operations, right? So this is very important. So if you're done with that, so it means that you are done for any or all the operations which are related to the database, right? So that's why this is the last session for this one. So same means phenomena will go for the Firebase or any of the other database as well. So today we are focusing about the CURD operations, and that is the continuation of the previous lectures, and we will see that how it is continue, how it's different, and if suppose we are focusing for others. So first of all, we just go for our demo, so we can see that what is the means CURD operation, how it is working, and then we can see about its code as well. So here we go. We just run the application. So you can see from here that this application is shows the insert, the update, the delete existing data, and view the data. So view the data is actually reading the data out of the CURD operation, CURD. So this is representing to R, reading the data. Delete the data, this is representing to the D. Update the data, this is representing to the U. And insert the new data, this is actually representing to creation. So this is how the CRUD or CURD, whatever you can call that one. So now, for example, we just run the application. For example, here, this is the one of the app in the interface, and it's asking, please enter the details below. So for example, we are just 3 values, what it is asking: name, contact, and the date of birth. So for example, we say that the my class is the name, contact is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. date of birth is, say, for example, 2000. Just going to means insert the data. So we can just simply click on here, insert the new data. So you can see new entry inserted successfully. Right, guys? Now we are not able to see anything here, but we do have something here where we can be able to see our data. So how we can see our data? If suppose we click to the view data, view the data. So you can see from here, this is the initially earlier means one of the entry it was inserted. And then this is the my class, and this is the contact 1234, and this is the date of birth, right? So now this is a dialog box. Okay. This is a different dialog box, not like suppose the toast message. The toast message, it appears and it goes with the time. This will not disappear with the time. We need to click, okay, anywhere at the screen, then it will disappear. We disable its activities like OK and cancel the other options. So for example, we click here, automatically it is gone, right? Now here we also applied all the checks, like what we applied the checks there. For example, we are trying to insert this data again. So right now you just click the insert data. Okay, so you now notice here that there is no action, but data not inserted at this time. Why it's not inserted? Because the data is already there. So it means that we cannot be able to insert the duplicate value as well. But if suppose we want to insert the new value, and what we are going to do that we are not providing these things, these information, but here we are saying, like suppose this is Monday, and then we are saying, okay, just go to insert the data. So new entry inserted successfully. So this is means that we are providing this information, which is the our primary key, and the rest of the information, if we are providing or not, this is fine. So for example, now if we view the data, so you can see from here that this is the contact information is empty and date of birth is empty as well. So now going back, and now what we are going to do, for example, we are just keeping this empty and we are inserting here 335566, and here say for example 220 22, and now insert the new data. I'm just removing here so you can be able to see the message here. So insert the new data. So again, new entry inserted successfully. So it means that we can be able to insert any other value if suppose we are missing. Now what problem we will face from this one in case if suppose we want to delete this one, right? So this data is already there. We want to delete this existing data. Whatever data we want to delete, so we need to pop up that data here. For example, now we are saying delete this data. Entry is deleted. So if we see from here, now there is no entry about that. Now we are going back and we are just trying to see about the data, which is a Monday. So we can provide the value for that. So here we go. And we can say for this one, this is actually Monday, and we just say to delete the existing data. So entry is deleted. And when we look for this one, so we can see that there is no Monday class and it's gone. Now we want to delete this entry, which is for the 7. So again, we can go for this one and say delete this entry, and like suppose here. So entry is deleted and view the data. So only the last data is remaining. Now what happens if suppose even the last data we delete? So we can say my class, okay, and we just provide delete the existing data. That data is also deleted. So now no entry exists. If we say view the data, there is no entry exists, right? So now in this way, again, we are coming back to this one, means 2233, and say, for example, 2000, and we just insert the data. So data is inserted now. And when we view the data, only the one entry is there. Now we want to update. Say, for example, my class is the wrong name, but we are trying to say this is not my class, but we are saying that this is the MAD class. Okay, so we want to update that data rather to enter the other values. So we can say update So you can say data is not updated at this time. Why not updated? Data is not updated this time because that is actually a primary thing. Okay, no worries. Then what we can do, we are just trying to update, that is our reference point. And okay, insert data, data not inserted because that's already there. And we just updating this value, level 344 data. So entry is updated. So now we just go to C, then we can see that the 22, 33, 44. Again, the same thing here. We just want to update this field because the first field is our reference field. So we can say this is the data we need to update. So this entry is updated and we can be able to see this is updated and this is updated as well. So this is actually a sample, a demo from where you can be able to understand it, how things are working. Okay, for any of the class that is normally a sample for the proof of the concept, so you can see that how that concept is working, right? So later you can be able to extend that according to your requirement. Now, here we go. If suppose we just see that what it is. So the first of all, we just go for the project. And if you just see from here, then you can find out the class, which is the activity underscore main. And we just see that this is the only one activity what we are using. Now, if I take you back here, so you will find out that you will not even able to see even a single entry, new thing, what you had not done before, because now these all are the things what we are doing new. Sorry, the same. So you can see from here when we just see this text view, which is the label for this one. So again, this is the ID. These are the default values which can make possible its existing of the control. And this is actually, the caption. And this is for its beautification and what will be the size and what will be the margin from the top. Now, when we come back to the other control for this one, so again, you can see the same, the ID and its default properties and where we want to place and what is the hint, what we covered in our previous lecture. And also, this is the text type. You remember last time we also did that when user come, so it only appears the text person name like that. So this is the same. And then we are saying about the beautification text size only. So this is same like what you had done in your previous class. Exactly the same. Now you just copy and paste here. This is again the same. So we don't want to go further with this one. So these all things are same. And this is also the same. Okay, at the text, this is also the same. Now we are coming up, with the data part. And then this is for the buttons. Again, buttons are the same. We put the name, default properties, okay, which can show their appearance. So that is there. And where we want to place, what will be the margin from the top, and what will be its caption, and what will be the size of its text. So you can simply copy and paste this one, button 2, button 3, button 4, and you just change its caption and its ID. So again, not a single line, a single word means you got new here. Everything what you had done with your previous example is 100% same, right? So it's very simple, as I mentioned to you, that always means the things are interlinked. So whenever you want to do the practice, so if you are not done with the practice with the previous one, and if you want to go through with this one, then you will face little difficulty. If you're not done, you was busy, whatever the issue, then you please go back and start from the first one. Okay. So then it become very easy and you can reuse the code as well. And not only to be able to reuse the code for your this exercise and for your lab, but this is what I told you last time as well. So whenever you are playing, you are using the database code for any of the app. Okay, all of these apps, the code is the same. Okay, because the requirement is the same, the procedure is the same. So any of the software developers, when they develop the 2 or 3 or 10, 20 these applications, then they become, the faster and master. Both things are there. So any new order they receive, so they can reuse the code and only they update its GUI and they can put into the market. So because there are no new things. So now we can go for the helper class. So again, you will be looking from here that all the things are the same that what we had covered in with our previous class, right? So a few little more lines are here, not to be worried about that because we have more operations here. Like suppose all of the database operations, CRUD operations are here. So here we go. So from here, you can see that actually this is your helper class, which extend to your builder class, which extend to your SQLite open helper. Same thing what you had done before, same thing what we are doing here, and same thing we are means applying and using, creating our data. Same, everything same, everything, the version and everything, nothing new. So from here, we are on create method. What we are going to do, we are just creating the same query, execute SQL, creating a table, and the name for the table is user detail. And then we are just means providing the 3 columns. Okay. And for this, you see that we are putting the primary key, the first one. Okay. The name, then the contact and the data part. So you remember last time we did the 3 also, and the last time we did the 2. So 100% same. Okay, you can even reuse the code. Then we are coming up here on update. You remember what we did? We did to drop the table if exists, and then we override. 100% same. Then we are coming for the insert data. This method even you did for the last of your example as well. So we are using the 3 values. So string name and string contact and data bar. So that's why we are passing the 3 different parameters. So how we are going that? So again, the same, whenever we want to insert, we always need to make it writable. So that's what we are doing. We are making it, getting it a writable database. And then we are going to, means creating the instance for the content value. Again, refer to the previous class. We used in the previous class as well, but we cannot means send the values without the content value. So this is the method which help us. So we can create this one, and with the help of the content value. So you remember last time also you used content value dot put. So 3 values. So that's why name and contact and data part. So we are just passing the values. So user is passing these 3 values, 3 parameters. So we are just using this content values, means with the help of this content value, we are able to, insert into the database. That's why we are just putting that one. And then we are having the result, long result. And what we are going to do, insert. So what it means by the insert, the user insert the value, we get the value from there. And now using this the content value we are inserting. Where we are inserting? In our user detail. What is our user detail? That is the table what we created here. So you can see from here, this is, and what this table contains, 3 columns. Number 1 is the name, then the contact and data bar. So the same thing we are doing here. So we are inserting this, okay? And from where, how, with the help of what? We're entering with the help of the content value. And content value is this. That is what we already provided. So if the result is means -1, then means need to return false, otherwise return true. So this is right actually, and it's checking if suppose the data is already there. So it will say the data is not inserted, otherwise true, and it is inserted. So the same method now you can see from here for the update user. So you can even copy this one and you can go back to the previous one. The code is the same. So what we are going to do, like suppose we are following the name and the contact and data bar, the 3 values again, remember the same. And again, we need to make it writable. So you remember, I told you in the last example as well, whenever we want to access, we want to make it writable. Otherwise, we will not be able to write the data. And again, we need to have the content value. And from here, so you notice here that we are only passing this time only 2 values, the content and contact and data part. Now you understand, while we was running the demo, so we were not able to update the name because the name is the primary key. And for that, we are also not passing values from here. So that's why we were not able to update the name, but we can be able to update the rest of the 2 fields. So again, from here, now we need a cursor. Okay, cursor, we need to reach to any particular row and column. So for that, we need, the cursor class. You remember in the cursor class, we have different methods, move one, move next, move last, and like these things. So we'll be using that one. So this is now we are putting the raw query, simple query from the SQL for the user detail, where means what we are putting, like suppose what the user is taking, which value is either it's putting for the name or whatever the value, right? So name is actually the reference and then which value is putting. So now cursor.get count. So it will go, I mean, if it is greater than 0, or it means that the something is exist. Otherwise, if it is not greater than 0, then it means there is no value. The table is empty. If empty, then we cannot update. Remember? So now again, the same thing, the result of our update, we are sending this value with the help of the content value same, and with the help of the name, which name means name is the primary key, which data value we want to update. Same thing means same condition what we applied for the previous one, if false, -1, otherwise it's true. So nothing new. You did the same for your previous example as well. Otherwise, you just need to return false. Now wait for the delete. So deleting the data. So you can see from here you will see a little difference, right? So again, we need to go for this write-in. Always. Otherwise, we cannot be able to read, cannot be able to write, cannot be able to insert, cannot be able to delete. For all operations, whatever operations we want to interact with the data base, so we need this one to make it writable. So now from here, you can see again the same, the cursor again same, the raw query and the simple query is here. And then again same. So you can see from here, this line and this line in the code, this is the 100% same, right? So now when we go through with this one, and then again, the result is for the update. So, sorry, for the delete. So we are just using the delete method. And from where we are deleting, from the table, and what's the name, whatever the user is providing. So this is here what the user is providing. Based on that, it is deleted. And again, the same condition, we can only be able to delete if suppose data exists. If data not exists, then no. So these are only the verification check, like what we discussed for the previous case. Now, getting the data, while we are viewing the data, this is very simple. Okay, this does not require anything. It's just required to read the data. But even for reading the data, we need to go through to make it now readable. So difference here is what we are making the data readable database, and difference what it was here means always we were trying to make it writable. So now we are not writing, we are reading. So only for this getting data, we need to make it readable. So this is how we are making it readable and simple. With the help of the cursor, we just apply the same raw query, and we are just saying select straight from this one, and then whatever the value return. So to the cursor, because every value will return to this cursor, and then we are just returning. Just means showing that one. How we are showing in the data box, we didn't discuss here. That we will be discussing in our, it means Java code, because that is the part of the GUI, not part of the database functionality. So that's how this is finished. Just see, everything is same like what you had done before. So those who are done with the practice with before, means this will be a piece of cake for those guys. They can see that this is just going, like 1, 2, 3. Now coming here. So from here, you can see now that this is now the code, and not to be worried that this code is a bit more lines, but again, the code is the same like what we had done with our previous example, because this is the extension for this one. So you can see from here, like suppose we are using the edit text. So there are 3 edit text: name, contact, and data path. Remember here what we were using. So we just created the instances for this one. Then there are the 4 button: insert, update, delete, and view. So the instance for this one as well, right? Then we are creating instance for helper class. 100% same what we had done for our previous class as well. Now this is the default code and default method. So we are just fetching up the GUI. Okay, so you can see from here, name by using the find view ID, and the contact, the same for data path, and same for these 4 buttons: insert, update, delete, and view. So this is the same what we are doing from the day first, right? So nothing is new. Now we are coming for using the database for this class. So we just initiated this DB as well, because we created the instance for DB. You can see from here, same like what we had done for the previous class as well. So now what we are going to do, like suppose for inserting. So insert means this is the button, insert button. So okay, so on set click listener, when the user is going to click that button, that what it's supposed to do. So first of all, you need to understand that what we are supposed to do. So we are supposed to do that whatever the user entered the values inside the button, okay, in the text box, text view, sorry. So from the text box, so our text view, we need to take those values and try to send them to the database. This is the whole operation. So the same thing we are doing here. So we are means getting the values on click from the view. So you can see from here, the same thing we are converting them into the string to avoid any error. So here you can see the string name and the contact and data part. So this is from the name field, and we are getting the text, whatever the user inserted, and we are converting to the string. So we are just means getting the value and assigning here, getting the value of contact, assigning here, getting the value of the data part and assigning. Right. So this is, you can say, what we are getting. We are just trying to, fetch the value what the user is entering, keying, and then we are just assigning that value particularly to this control. Then now here we can see that the check insert data, because now we have the data in our hand. Now we are able to go to insert. So insert data method is always a Boolean method, because we only have the two ways. Either it will be inserted, either it will be not. There is no other way. So this is Boolean check insert data. So we are using where in DB. DB, what it is, our helper class, so database. So that's representing to our database. Which method we are using now? Insert user data. What we are supposed to insert? Name, contact, and data part, right? So you can see from here that check insert data. If it is true, means if it is not true, means it's not empty, everything is there. So the data will be inserted because we just forwarded this data to the insert data. What's the function? What's the code for the insert data? Not required here. Okay, that is we already discussed in SQLite. So this is taking these values. If it is correct, then the toast message will be new entry is inserted. And if it is not correct, then data not inserted on this. Okay, so how it's correct or not? Those values, those validation we already done in the SQLite. We're not doing here. Based on that, means from the response from the database, we means automatically the toast message will appear. So now going for the other method, see, very simple. Then we are going for the means update one. So for the update, now you can see that what we have done here, everything will be means closely same like that one. So again, we are taking the, when the user click on this one, so we are getting the value, all these values from this one. Then we are using the means check updates, and where we are sending to the database for which function, with method, which is the update user data. Now, you know what I'm referring from here. This is insert. This is update. I'm referring to this method when I say that we are going to this one. So every operation is being done here. So now we are discussing about this. So everything is going to be done here. So we are going here, update, and we are taking these values, the three values. And if it's true, based on the code what we had provided there. Remember, here we are not doing anything. Then only entry is updated, and if it is not, then data is not updated. The toast message will come, right? So now going for the delete data. So again for the same. So now for delete, you notice here that we are just getting the one value, only the name. Here you notice we are getting the three values, all three columns. Here you notice that we are getting all three columns. For insertion, 3. For updation, 3, because we can be able to update any value. But for deletion, no. Only one value. Why? We can only refer to the means primary key. So automatically associated data with that will be automatically deleted. Okay, the whole data, the whole row will be deleted. That's why it is only the one. So when we come up with this one, so where we need to send this data? To the delete data. Where is the delete data? Again, here in this method, after the update, this is the delete method. So now the data is going there. Okay, we are just referring that one. Again, same, if it is true. If true means that all conditions are true, entry is deleted. Otherwise, the data is not deleted. So in each of the code, like suppose even if you are like suppose you can see that if you are putting the toast messages, even though it's a copy paste, but if you don't want to use that, no need, means your program will be working. But this is only the notification and confirmation to the user. Otherwise, how user will know that my data is inserted or not? Otherwise, the user will be keep trying. So now going for the other one, which is on the sorry, which is on the method that how we are getting the data. So here the things will be a bit different, right? So now you understand about all of them. Now here why the things will be a bit different. So you can see from here. Now I can show you. You remember I told you that we will be going to call the dialog box as well, the toast as well with a different way. So from here we can see that the cursor. Now we use the cursor to get the data. You remember here also we use for the get data, we use the cursor. You remember here, the cursor, okay? Because the cursor is the one which can help us to read the data from a particular location. So here is a cursor, and we are saying, means result to get the count. So now it's just going to read, from data. If it's 0, then there is no value, then it's not able to read. So we can receive the message that no entry is there. Simple. But if it is not the case, then means there will be a different case. For different case, what we are supposed to do, we cannot, the cursor can only read one value at one time. Cursor can read only one value, but we want to see the whole entire row. So for that, what we are supposed to do, we need to use the buffer. You know the buffer, the concept of the buffer. Okay, the buffer can store the value. But then how we need to read? We need to read again and again. Sorry. So for that, we need to apply the loop. Why we are applying a loop? Because cursor can read only one data, only one entry. Cursor cannot read more than one at one time. Cursor can read. The loop can means continue from start to the end. So it can go this process multiple times. Then the value can be stored into the buffer. When the buffer is full, so later we can call the value from the buffer to show that what's the values. So this is what we are doing here. So you can see from here that we created the buffer, and for this buffer we apply the while loop. You can apply any loop. So this is the value now going to the move to the next. So it's start from the first and moving to the next. So it can go to read the name and contact and data part. Okay, so you can see from here it starts from 0. 0 is actually the index value. So 0, 1, 2. So entering this means that reading for the name, for the contact, and for the data part. And here we are putting the /n. So it is just breaking a line, and we put the 2/n. So we are putting 2 break lines. So as we can see, the set of the data means separate from each of them. So once everything is done, now we are coming up here, because now everything is in our buffer, stored in our buffer. But how to show to the user? That is with the help of the dialog. Okay, alert dialog. This is we are not showing, with the toast message, because toast can appear for a while and can disappear. So now with the alert dialog box, we can see from here we are creating. Okay, so we created the instance for this one, and then we are saying the set cancelable true. So when we click here, so you notice that it's automatically cancel, and then we can say set title user entries. This title, what it was appeared at the top, we set that title, and then we are saying buffer to string. So what the values we stored from here. So these are the values, we are just taking them, and then we are just saying to convert all the values of the buffer into string, and then we are just saying that show the values whatever is stored into the buffer. So actually we are getting all of the values. So see, from buffer we store here in the builder, and from the builder this is then we are showing the value. So it's very simple. Yes, attendance. Okay. Thank you. So guys, tomorrow you just try to do the practice. Okay, no need to be scared. Okay, just be confident and you just do that. Okay, we just stop the recording. Just give me the 1 minute, because we are going attendance. So we need to stop the recording. All right.